Hallelujah. I'm preaching a message I've entitled, I hope to finish today, if not, we'll take it to next week. Breaking patterns, building legacy. Breaking patterns, building legacy. Do you know that there are schools that are very high-end schools in particular parts of the world that don't teach maths and English and geography and science? No. There are schools that are open to the children of conglomerates and multinational companies and all of that. They bring their children into that place, and I say, when they come there, they don't teach them maths and English. They teach them how to behave in the boardroom, how to read psychology, how to know when somebody is weak and you can easily influence that person. They teach them things that their normal child in school does not learn. They teach them how to build a legacy, how to maintain a legacy, because all their fathers are wealthy oil magnates and people with CEOs. Their children, they are not now coming to learn how to make money. They got it. They are learning how to maintain the money, how to deal with human beings, what emotional intelligence is. That's what they are learning. You must begin to learn to build a legacy. And to be able to build a legacy, you must break patterns. Today, I'm talking about family. You see, because we are in Africa, we understand ancestral things. We understand how those things work. And today, I beg you, bear with me, I'll teach a bit. Because we cannot end like this. Tell yourself, I cannot end like this. You yourself, you know that you cannot end like this. No. And it is my task, it's my responsibility, not just to bring you together to clap and dance, but 1 year on, you come to me in my office and say, Daddy, thank you that I've been able to bring behavioral changes, attitudinal advancements, and I've been able to usher you into the mandate God gave you before you came upon the face of the earth. And you will look back and say, Daddy, thank you. That is how I get fulfillment. I don't only want you to come and give me $1 million in 5 years because you make money. Because money without good character is nonsense to God and then to me. I said I was going to teach. Let me just teach. Tell anybody that is teaching. I want to talk about the God of generations, right? The God of generations. Genesis 17, verse number 7, Exodus 3, 6, Matthew 22, 32. Genesis 17, verse 7. These are my thematic scriptures for today's dissertation. Genesis 17, verse number 7. Exodus chapter number 3 and the 6th verse. And the 22nd chapter of the first book of the New Testament and the 32nd verse. Matthew 22, 32. God would often introduce himself not just as God, but as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because God is not just a God of individuals, God is a God of generations. Everybody in this building needs to understand that your life is part of a bigger story. God is not just doing something in you, but he's doing something for you, and he's doing something through you for your children and for your children's children. It's very easy for a man to look at himself and begin to see himself as a continuation of what his father started. But it's not always the case. Sometimes you've got to stop what daddy started. I'm going to that debate. I wrote here, maybe your father never knew God, or your family has been trapped in cycles of poverty, addiction, or spiritual dryness. But you can be the Abraham of your family, the one who starts the blessing. You can be the Abraham of your family, the one who starts the blessing. Because people talk a lot about generational curses, but people don't talk as much about generational blessings. Because there are men that started the curse. And because the whole world lies in the hands of the evil one, everybody is talking about the curse, but very few people are accepting the fact that there are generational blessings that men are enjoying. There are things I enjoy today that I know for a fact it's not because I did nothing. It's because I had a mother who prayed. Tell you. There are things I walk in today. There are levels of spiritual buoyancy I'm able to enjoy, not because I've tarried at an altar for so long. It's because I had a mother who prayed and set a tone and created an environment that I grew in. So God will come to Abraham and say, I am God that brought you out from Egypt. Then you come to Isaac and say, I am the God of Abraham. Then you come to Jacob and say, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac. Why? Because God would always identify with generations. Listen to me, somebody. I have a pastor friend who's having a bit of a problem understanding the whole idea of having a spiritual father and the covering and all of that. And I've been trying to explain. He's still not got to it, but I believe God. You have no idea. You have no idea the place of a spiritual father in your life. Believe me, everything you see on the face of the earth is a mirror of what's in the spirit. So if a man has a father who's biological, the man must have a father who's spiritual. So there's got to be somebody who your umbilical cord connects to in the spirit. I wish somebody would understand what I'm saying. Because let me tell you, no man is an island. No man can live on their own. At my age, I'm turning 50 in a couple of years. There are people who scream at me and I sit down. They both say, don't be stupid. You should have done that. And I kneel down and immediately I beg. Some of them are older than, some of them are older than, some of them are older than me, some of them are older than. And they scream and I shudder, literally. Why? Because if you see a man that is too big to be corrected, that man is too small to be praised. Hello, you want to write that down? Yeah. Somebody said, Daddy, stay in the book. Stay in the book. Similarities and struggles. I want to look at the similarities and struggles of this particular bloodline. All of them, number one, had a promise from God. You want to write that down? All of them had a promise from God. Abraham, God promised him a son of nations. Isaac continued that promise. God came to Jacob and said, I am with you. So there was a promise that every single generation walked in. But one thing jumped out at me when I was going through the exegesis, trying to exegete, and I noticed that every one of the children experienced God for themselves. Isaac experienced God for himself. Jacob experienced God for himself. I cannot for the life of me understand, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends, how is possible that you want to live this life hanging on your parents' faith? Somebody say no. Come on, say no. It's impossible. You cannot hang on your parents' faith. It does not. Listen, you have got to touch God yourself. Tell your neighbor, touch God yourself. Our like I'm saying, I live off my mommy's faith. I'm saying the things I'm doing, I mean, most of them I know are because I come from a stock where prayer was serious. Where you can't, unless you are dead, you don't walk out the door without doing morning devotion. Unless you are dead or you are I don't know, I know something, but morning devotion and every Sunday you must give them one chapter from your head every Sunday. You must tell them, memorize one chapter. People were doing memory verse, we were doing memory chapter. Do you understand? So we went through that kind of phase. But now, so we had praying mothers, we had praying fathers. But today all we have is Netflix mothers. And what? TikTok and all. There are no praying mothers anymore. You're tattered and pierced mothers, tattoos everywhere, shisha mothers. That's what we are going to become. We are. I saw a lady last time. I knew her from back in the day. Then I saw her and I said, "Ah, you look familiar." So I said, "What do you do?" I'm an influencer. That's what you do. We are moving from praying mothers to influencer mothers. What we have now is dildo mothers and vibrator mothers. Sports bet fathers and I don't understand. What are we growing to become? What are we growing to become? Every day your eyes are red. What kind of father? What kind of mother? And these days, now say the girls are using. I think the girls are using more than the boys. So you see, in my day to get high, you must see smoke. Yes, I say. In my day to get high, if I see smoke, or at least you go see vapor, because the cocaine when you put for the foil top, where you do the ash and things, before you chase out, you go see some kind of. You have to see smoke. Morris, you have to see smoke. In those days, you see smoke. They know the person's high. These days, red, there's no smoke. Oh. My brother here, he went to somebody's house, and then he went to a table, and there's some catty cake there. He was breaking some. He was hey, Befausaka. So he left the catty cake. Then he went to see some cupcakes. So he went to say, hey, what's one deal? Mrs. Table no. Man, cause our table no, brah. Because the table, everything on the table is out. It's out. So what kind of father, what kind of mother are you going to become? Brownie papa, that's what you are going to become. And the nice girls with spares speaking English are the ones doing the brownies. I'm telling you. Oh, because Ella is wearing glasses. No, it's God blessing somebody today at all. It's God blessing somebody. It's God blessing somebody. That's it. When the the whole church, everybody's just enjoying the things after. You tell your neighbor, change your life. It's not the bakers. No, the bakers in this church don't do that. Don't do that. Tell your neighbor, become a praying mother, become a praying father. I mean, Charlie, know God for yourself. Trust me, guy, it is not easy. This thing called prayer, it is not what? It's not easy. Me, I went to sleep yesterday morning. I got up at 10 p.m. Then I went to sleep 1.5 hours later and got up this morning. Because the whole week it was just prayer. I was boned. I didn't even know I was that tired. This prayer thing. So now that you are a young man, young woman, pray. Because there will come a time when Solomon said the grinders have fallen out. There will come a time you will not have as much energy to pray the way you could have prayed now. There will come a time when you don't even have the time to be able to pray. So now that you don't have a job, pray. Miss them. I like that's a very sensible that you answered. Pray. The second similarity I want to look at, they all faced challenges. They all faced challenges. There's no way I'll finish this thing today, but I'll just touch this one and we'll be done. They all faced challenges. Every one of them faced challenges. So we know about the barrenness of Abraham and Sarah. Isaac and Rebekah had the same problem, 20 years of waiting. Jacob and Rachel had the same problem, went years without children when Leah was being blessed with children. And so they had the same challenges. I wrote here, even with a promise, you face resistance, right? Even with a promise, you face resistance. Even with a promise, if you're a worker, you've got to come to church, the Bible, your notebook, and your pen. Even with a promise, you face resistance. The promise doesn't remove the process, but every delay has a purpose. The promise doesn't remove the process, but every delay has a purpose. The third similarity and struggle, they all repeated the same mistakes. Abraham lied about Sarah. Isaac lied about Rebekah. Jacob lied for the blessing. This is where I had a problem. No, I don't know if I can go into the breaking it. But Abraham lied. Isaac lied. Jacob lied. Abraham's wife was fair, as in Coco. Isaac's wife was fair, as in Coco. And Jacob's, no, not plantation, that one is different. And Jacob's wife was fair, biblically proven. You can go check that. Check the it's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. It's the word. The etymology. Check the etymology. You'll find that all their wives were what? Fair. And then all the three men, they lied. Jacob lied to his father. But you see, Jacob, they had a problem. Some of you are here, your problem is like Jacob. Because Jacob's problem, somebody say, was twofold. Say it was twofold. Hi. In Jacob's case, it was serious. Because Jacob, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, his grandfather and his father. His grandfather, his father and himself. No, his grandfather and his father had lied. Right? His mother was from a lying family. If you had come to pray on Friday, you understand. But I explained it to them. His mother was from a lying family. Because his mother was the sister of Laban. And Laban is the guy Jacob went to work for, who changed Jacob's wages 10 times. Away from the contract they had. He said, run. He found every way he could to cheat the young man. And that's his sister. His sister was Jacob's mother. So the guy both ways. And you see, if you don't deal with the problem in your father's house, you take it to your husband's house. Are you listening to me? Yeah, you take it to your husband's house. You think that she wanted, no, but she did it because she didn't deal with it. That's the nature. So once she goes to her husband's house, she goes with the baggage. And that's where Jacob was coming from. So Jacob was under a heavy dose of, and that is why when the angel came, you think that Jacob was exaggerated, or Jacob got prayed right in or so into the moon. He knew that what he was carrying, if God did not change his name, his destiny was at stake. He held the angel. He said, hey, if you don't bless me, you will not go. The guy said, then do what you have to do for me. Grab the guy. Until the guy said, from today you are not called Jacob, you are called Israel. Because Jacob means deceiver, trickster. And he knew that with that kind of name, from that kind of family, there was no way he could rise. You have to be the person who's a transitional person, who says that even though the back is stupid, the front will be wise. Even though my background is so bad, like Pastor Maxwell says, I won't allow my background to put my back on the ground. Pastor Maxwell's boss, not my boss, Pastor Maxwell's boss. Patterns repeat until someone breaks them. Patterns repeat until someone breaks them. Anger, addiction, dishonesty, immorality, they don't end by accident. They end when someone stands in faith and says, not in my generation. Kai. When someone stands in faith and says, not in my generation. Can somebody say, not in my generation? Come here, I know what's in my family, bro. And I'm telling you, not in my generation. Hey, all the nonsense ends with me. My children are going to walk in such freedom you have no idea. Because I will not allow the devil to bring the battle from me and let it. Hey, tell your neighbor, it ends with me. It ends with me. It ends with me. It ends with me. So I told them on Friday about Moses. Moses was called the meekest of men by the Bible. He was called the meekest of men. And yet the meekest of men was stopped from entering the promised land by anger. Meekness and anger don't come together. They don't agree. They're not in the same room. But 10 generations before, not 10 years, 10 generations before, that's about at least 1,000 years before. And in those days, their life expectancy was not our 78, so maybe even more than that. But 10 generations before, a girl called Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, was raped by a guy called Shechem. And then Levi went and, long story short, Levi went and killed the whole nation. He killed everybody in Shechem because of what Shechem did. Shechem's whole nation, he killed everybody. 10 generations before Moses. And that was in Moses' bloodline, because Moses is a Levite. He's a priest unto God. At the point when Moses had to enter the promised land, that one thing that was a limitation in their bloodline, anger, showed up. And that is how the guy was stopped from entering to, because he was angry. And he was not angry at somebody sleeping with his wife or somebody cutting him. He was angry at a stone that God said, speak to. And he was so angry he struck the stone. Hey, for something as mundane and insignificant, they were looking for a way to get the thing to show up. And it showed up just at the verge of his entry into promise. May you not miss your promised land, Wati. May you not miss that glory that God has set in place for you. Somebody say in the name of Jesus, I will not miss it. Not in my generation. Say not in my generation. I have to end this one here. But I have to. If I scratch the next surface, it will take so long. Rise to your feet. Let's do some prayer and then we'll close.